and take 57. We are back and we are running now. I can see the stream, everything's running smoothly. That was weird. I had to restart the computer and reinstall OBS because OBS wasn't working properly. It said it was running in the background and it clearly wasn't. But I've lost all my viewers, but that's fine. I just wanted to come on here and do an official one of these. So I gotta say, tonight's episode was a fantastic episode. One of the best, if not the best, I would say the best Discovery episode we've seen thus far. And I got to give them a lot of praise. They did a fantastic job. Um, yes, I am back, and it's better this time. I hope everything seems to be running smoothly now. I don't know. I had some issues, man, but we're back. Um, so yes, kudos to the Discovery team. I think this one was a good swing and a hit, a home run, almost maybe out of the park. I didn't see much wrong with the episode, to be perfectly honest, and usually I noticed a few things right off the hop that really bugged me. This one, not so much. This one I really did enjoy. Like I said earlier, the ship shots were beautiful. We got some nice long pans of the ship. They're well lit CGI. One of the biggest complaints we had about season one, both Samuel and myself, was the piss poor dark CGI that they were using. So not happy about that, but I'm glad they've stepped up their game since then to correct that issue. Um, so kudos for that. The one thing, I mean, I'm going to keep a lot of praise on this one because it was really well done. It had that TOS or even TNG type vibe to it, finding humans that have been there for 200 years, long before warp travel was a thing. I love that. So, this one, again, was directed by Jonathan Frakes. So, I think Frakes really brought a lot to the table on this one. And the good script helped. I know there are people that are still going to complain about this. Essentially, they're going to complain about the Captain Pike at the end going down uh, to talk to that guy. I don't see an issue with it at all. So it is what it is. People are going to complain about it either way. Um, the one thing that I didn't like about the episode was the fact that they're using the spore drive again. But I kind of like that in a way as well because they're going what would take 150 years at top warp to get there, and that kind of shows how improbable it is that there's humans there. Um, so that was great. Um, yeah, I agree. CJ O'Neill Burnham came off as a bit of a bitch still. I didn't like her in this episode. They need to fix her character because she's just not a good character. Not only is there that Mary Sue aspect, but there's just that aspect, and it's got to stop. They've got to fix it. The crew having members of the crew having more than a couple syllables of lines was really nice. I gotta say, that's another kudos to them. Zeke puts in 4.99. Did you notice the Voyager door sound for Pike's ready room? I noticed it sounded a little off, but I didn't know why. But that must be the case. Um, so anyway, guys, sorry about the earlier broadcast. I don't know what was wrong. OBS just had a hiccup, and anyway, back. So the other thing I didn't really like was the Tilly storyline. Now, I mean, the poor girl gets thrown across the hangar bay, smashes her head, and then sees her weird little friend, who I knew right away that something was off with her. Um, then, of course, we find out, and this is spoiler filled, guys. So if you don't want spoilers, don't watch. I um, did put warning spoilers in the title, so just giving you guys a heads up. Um, so Tilly seeing her dead friend, I think, is either going to tie in directly with the green spore that landed on her shoulder in season one. It's also, I think, linked to Stamets talking about seeing Hugh in the mycelial network. And I think because he was apprehensive about going in, I think that we're going to see that he might have been looking for Hugh or dragged something through the mycelial network as far as dead people. Uh, I don't know how that's going to play out exactly, but I think there's some correlation there. Um, so yeah, I either that or Tilly's just crazy from after hitting her head. She's yeah not in a good place. I don't know. Um, that was a little bit off for me. That whole storyline. It could tie in with the angels as well. It could be that the angels are starting to show people visions of people that are dead. Although with the direct Hugh conversation they had earlier in the episode, I kind of doubt that's the case. But I don't know. Um, Another thing that was really cool was when the helmswoman said, "I've had my driver's license or my pilot's license since I was 12." That was a very Sulu-esque line. That's something that Sulu would say for sure. And I do like the fact that the rest of the crew is getting their just I don't know, they're due now. They're getting the chance to shine a little bit. One of them going down on the away mission and being super clever. I love that. It wasn't Burnham that saved the day and opened the door. Um, I also love the fact that Burnham didn't jump in and because I thought she was going to jump in for sure and say no, we came from here, but she was very she kept it down and listened to Pike, which was nice and surprising nonetheless. Um, so that was good. And then the pilot doing her thing, that was pretty hilarious. I'm actually starting to like her. I never liked her character before, um, but yeah, this one is it's going to be one of those episodes that for the Discovery haters, if you tell them to watch an episode of Discovery, this is going to be the one because it's got that Star Trek vibe. It's like Star Trek's back now. This is how Star Trek's supposed to be, and I love how it was still kind of a standalone TOS type episode, but still linking in with the Red Angels and whatnot. So kudos to them. They did a fantastic job. The whole doing the donut to, you know, swing that asteroid around with the tractor beam. That was such a cool looking shot. I really love that. Um, that's the other thing that could be the case with Tilly is that the dark matter or the radiation from that asteroid is actually affecting that green spore in her. And that could be one of the reasons that she's seeing her dead friend. I don't know, but Timothy Adams says, I like your background. Well, thank you very much. This is my ready room. I do a lot of my captain's logs and things from in here. If you don't watch my captain's logs, they're every Friday at 9 o'clock on the Trekyards channel, and they come out about an hour earlier at 8 o'clock a.m. on Fridays on the Captain Foley personal channel. So I do a lot of them up here, and you can see, like I said, this is my ready room. This is where, the cool stuff is. There's cool stuff all over the house, but yeah, it's not the main Trekyards recording room at all. So I tried rating your stream earlier. Oh, the one that screwed up like 15 times. I really love the portrayal of Pike. I totally agree with you. Pike is he's being played very well. Um, I'm looking forward to a lot more with him, and it's a shame, knowing what happens to Pike's character is kind of disconcerting a little bit because you like the guy so much, but trying to get you some more viewers. Well, thanks, Archranger. I appreciate that. I know that Anti-Tracker and a few other people are streaming live right now, and I would have been on earlier, but I had really terrible issues with the first couple streams I tried, and then OBS decided to die on me after I restarted my computer, so I had to reinstall OBS, and just a real pain in the ass. But here I am, dedicated to you guys, because I love you guys. So the Tilly storyline was odd, but again, she's in the command training, whatever the program, and she's doing stupid things like in the short runaway. She harbored a fugitive on Discovery and then beamed her away. Not very smart for a command. Uh, she needs to be kicked out of that program. I'm sorry, as much as I love Tilly, because in this one she does this extracting of the core, the dark matter from this asteroid by herself. And there's one point where The computer says it's not a good idea, and she justifies it with a whole string of exposition. It's like, no, there should have been somebody else with her there, like a somebody that would should have said something, and her have piped in and said, no, this is why, and gone through the thing. Because one of the things Sylvia said to me when she said that line was, who is she talking to? Is she talking to herself? Because the computer doesn't care. The computer just needs a, yes, no, proceed, stop, whatever. Um, and Trekker is offline already. Wow, that's impressive. Have to be out school tomorrow. Take care. All right, Brian. See you later. Thank you for joining. Curtis Simpkin. Maybe they might change Pike ending. No, they won't. He's got to have that tragic um, ending, I think. I want to do a super chat, but need incentive to get all bundled up to go across the street to the ATM. But the super chat's electronic. Tilly and her friend was way off until you find out she's a childhood ghost, and it made more sense. Yes, and as soon as I saw that person, I was like, something's up with that. Again, I don't know if that's going to tie into Hugh coming back, the mycelial network in Stamets, or if it's just because of the radiation from that asteroid fragment infecting the green spore that hit Tilly. Because I know in one of the scenes of the upcoming season, you see them extracting something from Tilly's body. So that'll be interesting. Have either of you been in a church before? That was pretty funny, actually. I thought you were talking to me for a second. Um, well, it's kind of an outdated concept at that point, I think. But that being said, there is a chapel on the TOS Enterprise, so yeah. Yeah, Tilly was a bit too wacky again in this one. I like wacky characters like Barkley. This just feels forced in some way, or excessive amounts of it, but great trick. I don't know if it's forced per se, but I do agree with the excessive amounts of it. I did appreciate seeing Tilly in, a hospital gown. You know, that's just me because I'm a pervert. But damn, she's got a lot of hair. When it's not bundled up, like I did really like the two little buns. I thought that was super cute. But just the over the shoulder waterfall of red curly hair is a little much. It's very thick hair. Um, Redneck, lover 22, $2 just for having gorgeous hair. I'm blowing a kiss. Yeah, Tilly does have some pretty fantastic hair, absolutely. But it's a little too much of it, I think. Tilly's ghost died in 2252, the helmet cam circa 1953. Coincidence? I don't know. Do you think Star Trek Online or Star Trek Discovery is trying to inject more humor because of the popular success of the Orville? Um, Possibly. Plus, humor was always kind of a part of Star Trek since TOS, and incorporated in TNG. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're doing it as well. Um, to call out the Orville specifically on that, I don't really agree with per se. But I can see them, yeah, kind of learning from their mistakes. That being said, I watched Orville right after Discovery, and it's not a recycle of a TNG trope or any Star Trek writing at this time. But we'll talk about Orville at some other point. But Discovery tonight, dude, you guys did it right. I just said dude, but um, no, beautiful. The only problem I have is with the phaser incident. Um, what was that? It wasn't a phaser overload because that would have killed him and everybody within like a 3 kilometer radius. It must have been just been like a stun pulse or something, not like a stun beam, but I think it was some kind of stun setting at close range would probably do that. Um, do you like the new characterization of Saru? As a bit more funny character? Yes, yes. Doug Jones does a fantastic job, and I do like how Saru is going again. Saru was one of my favorite things about the first couple episodes of Discovery, and then during season one at the end, he just tapered off into forgettableness and whatever. But yes, he is coming back in season 2, kind of with a bang, and I do love the little bit of humor that's injected there. So absolutely, yes. Trek hasn't been a comedy to date, but the genre doesn't need to be a comedy to have funny moments. Like Lou Grant has a drama, but had funny on. Well, Star Trek's always had that dose of humor in it, especially in TOS. At the end of each episode, there was the on the bridge moment. Making a joke on Spock's, uh, you know, in, anyway, it's always had that last little kind of humorous vibe to it. And those little moments of humor are very human, they're very normal, they're very realistic, and they work if they're done properly. And I know that TOS didn't really incorporate that a lot into a lot of the episodes, the main body of them. But you see episodes like um, Piece of the Action, Trouble with Tribbles. There's some that just incorporate humor very well, and they've always done that. So I have no problem with Discovery injecting humor. They should have done that in season 1, but yeah. One thing I noticed was the first shot of the shuttle bay had it wide open again. Yeah, they like to have that shuttle bay open. I don't know if the doors got stuck, but it's always open. It's a cool visual. It looks fantastic, but there's no reason for the shuttle door to be open all the time. Discovery shuttle bay either has no door or it's transparent aluminum. It does have a door. We've seen it closed a few times, actually. So yes, it does have a door. It's never closed for some reason. Star Trek Discovery equals unintentional humor equals shitty. Well, I'm going to disagree with you there. Star Trek Voyager had some funny stuff on their show. Yes, they did. DS9 had humor with Ferengi episodes and just camaraderie between the crew members. All of the shows have had some kind of humor. So, yeah, it's about time Discovery realized that. And like I said at the beginning of this episode feels very Star Trek. It's like they've finally figured it out. This is what we want. We want Star Trek in our Star Trek. Is it too little too late? Personally, I don't think so. I know a lot of the haters out there are not going to really want to watch it or like it. But if they keep doing this, if they keep on a roll with this, there's no choice but for people to fall in line. Some of the hardcore haters are, of course, never going to admit that they've watched it or that they'll ever like it, no matter what. I think there's one or two hangers on for TNG that's the same way with that. But really, they did a good job. Maybe the asteroid broke the door. Well, the door was open all through the other episode, first episode as well, before they got the asteroid. But yeah, possibly. Captain Foley, what is the rating on both shows? What do you mean by the rating? Like, out of 10? Do you think Spock will be in the next episode? Probably not. I'm expecting him to come in episode 5, maybe 4 or 5. So he's still a couple episodes away, in my opinion. Samuel's thinking more middle of the season, but I think that's probably too late to hold it. But who knows? Every Trek show has a shakedown cruise. I'm sure people thought TNG was garbage early on too. Yeah, and they did. And the thing is, you had to read Starlog magazine to realize that. There was no internet. There was no everybody has a voice anonymously behind a keyboard. This is a different day and age. If TNG was coming out now, we'd hear the same crap about it not being good. So I love all Star Trek. Any Trek is welcome. Good man, Curtis. Good man. I agree. I think we will see Spock next in the mental next episode. Yeah, possibly. They did mention that he was in the mental institution because Pike knew where he was. So that being said, yes, it was kind of odd to drop that in this episode so early on and then not talk about it again. But I think you're right. We will probably see him in the next episode. But I'm still expecting at least episode 4 because they still got to get back. I don't know if they jump back on this one, but Stamets still has to get them back, and whether he's willing to do that or not, we'll see. And by the way, was he ordered to do this jump? Because he really didn't want to. I can't see Pike ordering him to do something he didn't want to do, but 135 people, that's awesome. Anyone that tuned into the earlier one where I was having technical difficulties, I apologize. As I said, YouTube was acting up, and then OBS was acting up, and then I restarted the computer, and then OBS disappeared, and OBS died, and it was just a pain in my ass, and I had to reinstall OBS, and now I'm back, and yay. So, um, yeah, and don't forget, guys, if you can super chat, please do so. It's not necessary at all, but just if you can, please do so. Tomorrow, Samuel and myself are filming. We're filming our review of this episode, which will be out tomorrow afternoon sometime. And then tomorrow at 5 Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing our 2 hour live talking about this episode and breaking it down scene by scene. And I think it's going to be a good one. It's going to be positive. It's going to be upbeat. There's very little in the way of negativity towards this one from me personally. This one was pretty spot on. This is a good episode of Star Trek. I don't care what the haters say. Um, people are. I got accused of loving Discovery again today. I'm like, you obviously don't watch everything that we do or listen, or you just pick out, you cherry pick what you want to hear and points that validate your view, but you don't pay attention. Um, Star Trek's Discovery's middle of the road for me. There's a lot I love about it. There's a lot I hate about it, and there's a lot that's just kind of Anyway, it's getting better. This one really raised the bar. Dreamer out there puts in $5. Thank you very much. Were there any Picard plus Riker facepalm worthy canon violations that jumped out at you tonight in Discovery season 2, episode 2? No, no, there really wasn't. I like I said, I've only watched it once. I have to, when I'm done this, as usual, I'm going to go down, watch it again, take my notes for our live chat tomorrow where we talk about all the scenes. But no, even the fact that they didn't call it the Prime Directive, they called it General Order 1, which was what they basically called it in TOS. It wasn't really referred to as the Prime Directive back then. So I love that aspect of it, that's still General Order 1. It was mentioned a few times. It was never called the Prime Directive once in this episode. And that is attention to detail that is very important, I think. Things like that. It was a really good episode. I'm watching it again. Yeah, I'm going to watch it again and as soon as I'm done this live chat. And I got to take my notes and all that. So Burnham was a much better officer in this episode. Getting there, I still have a bit of an issue with her, personally. Um, she just comes across as a bitch. I'm surprised she didn't fuck things up for Pike on the planet, but I'm glad you're fair and balanced and not a hater. I just left Doomcock for you. Well, thank you, Steve White. Trek Boys, or Trek Boy 89. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and that's what we try to do here. We point out the good and the bad because, like with everything in life, there's good and bad. We try to be fair. Became the Prime Directive in Private Little War. Kirk explains it helped. He helped recommend it. I think Frakes is a Star Trek. Frakes is a Star Trek fan for sure. You can tell, and it definitely shone through in this episode. When I saw he was his name is the director. I was like, yeah. Speaking of, Orville tonight was directed by Robert Duncan McNeil, who's Tom Paris from Voyager, in case you guys don't know. So it was also pretty good. But we'll talk about that at a separate time. And hope this isn't distracting. This is just my little microphone, and it just picks up my voice better if it's here rather than down there, because that's a lot quieter. I mean, it'd be more comfortable for me to have it down there, but it's just not sensitive enough. So I have it up here so you guys can hear me a bit better. Michael Mutiny Burnham. I use Doomcock to fall asleep, lol. Oh, man. I thought Burnham was more balanced. She swallowed her objections. Yeah, maybe. I was going to say it's because she's got an actual Starfleet captain now, but she was with Giorgio for 7 years, so she should know what that's like. It's not like she's had to deal with Lorca very long, but who made the Spock doll behind me? It's not a doll, it's an action figure, and I don't know. It was one of the Art Asylum ones. There's a Kirk too, which you can't see, I guess. There's Kirk. Kirk and Spock. But we all want to see the Enterprise. So, how about the addition to the away team, Osquan, as in getting to know the crew? Yeah, I mentioned that when I started this review. It's great that they have more than a couple syllables of dialogue in this episode. Um, her joining the away team, a fantastic idea. Awesome. Um, the Helms lady, never really been a fan of her. A lot of people are like, "Oh, she's so gorgeous. I love her." Whatever. This one, she softened up. She had a little humor injected there. It was fun to see that, and we need to see more of the crew. We need an ensemble cast. Star Trek's always been about the ensemble, usually about the trifecta of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, or Picard, Riker, and whoever. But the ensemble piece is a very important part of Star Trek, and that's really been lacking in this Discovery Season 1. So they need to do that, because I want to get to know these characters. I'm actually a fan of the Helms lady now, finally. I really wasn't. It's not a doll, it's an action figure, LOL. Famous words made mortal in many movies and real life. Yes. 5 seconds at maximum warp is plenty of distance. Yes. If they ever bring Tilly to an away mission, I'll facepalm. Well, they've already taken her on an away mission. They took her on an away mission over to the USS Glenn in Season 1, and she was actually really good. She was very on point in that mission, and I got to give her credit for that. The Helms later is Dittmer. I want you to remember. I won't remember. Maybe sometime eventually. We'll see. I'll try to drill it into my head. Dittmer. Thank you, guys. This episode's away mission was very reminiscent of something from TOS. Absolutely. Look, humans on a planet with human-like structures. Pretty much every episode of TOS, this is what we're dealing with. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. That felt like an episode of Star Trek, 100%, yes. 709 was the intensity that Voyager needed, just saying. Okay, well, yeah, better than Kess for sure. A very Trek episode finally. Yeah, that's the very first thing that I said. That's the very first thing I thought when I watched this. The first 5 minutes of it really kind of snagged me. It's like, whoa, I'm watching Trek again. This is awesome. So yeah, I like how Pike bends the rules at the end. Yeah, you got to think too that he is the scientist guy on the planet is human. He does. If Pike was in that situation, he'd want answers too. So I don't see that as a problem. I know a lot of people, Doomcock, Mecha Random, Anti-Trekker, are going to probably call out the fact that Pike wouldn't break the Prime Directive or General Order 1, even though he, through most of the episode, was insistent that that's not what he's going to do. But I do like at the end where Burnham talked to him and he decided to go down. But I can hear them now. A lot of the naysayers are going to be like, oh, they just ruined Pike's character, blah, blah. No, I don't think so. Was Pike wearing colors or just the disco drab? He was wearing the disco drab. He's even wearing the disco Delta with the split in it. He doesn't have his Enterprise Delta, which is the new one, which is just the regular Delta with a beveled edge, which looks really nice. But they for some reason he's wearing the Discovery gear. You got a lot of people watching your live stream. Yeah, we usually have around this many. It'd be nice if some of these people would super chat. If everybody gave me $1, that'd be awesome. I'm just kidding. I really don't care about that. It does help the channel, obviously, but I do enjoy doing these videos and touching base with you guys. So it's not a big deal. Um, Sorry, but whoa. I think Kirk broke the rules from time to time. Oh yeah, all the time. Well, didn't break the rules. He bent the rules. Dave Scarpa puts in $1.99. Do you expect a shift when the new writers kick in? I think this was one of the new writers, to be honest. Um, and if it isn't, I hope they stay on this course. This is the course they need to be on. This is the warp speed they need to be in. T-Berg sci-fi fan puts in $5 Canadian. High five. Psh, thank you, sir. Um, so I hope they stay on this course because really this writing was spot on for Star Trek. It was still a standalone episodic piece, but it still had that tie-in with the overarch of the season of the Red Angels. Um, what that means exactly, I mean, the stained glass we saw, the devil-like creature, and then the camera at the end, the soldier's camera that saw the thing coming through the stained glass. I mean, that's just impactful. And what does that mean? There was a red burst in the sky that the guy said thought it was their ship that was coming, um, and that's what drew the Discovery there to save the planet from the radiation. So a lot of things are falling into place, and but yet it's a standalone piece. It's very much like a TOS episode, and I do really appreciate that. Trek always went the rules as one of the points, the spirit of law versus law. Yeah, plus being out on the frontier and not getting answers from Starfleet for like weeks. Jason Link, I'll give you 20. Give me 10 minutes to get dressed and put the money in the checking account at the ATM because Trekyards. No, don't worry about it, Jason. Just stay where you are. Stay put. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Um, just don't worry about it, man. Or just your viewership. I appreciate that. Just stay nice and warm. Don't go to the ATM. Don't worry about putting money in your account. That's just silly. Um, Maybe they'll do the Enterprise like continuity with back references of a sort of serialization. That would be cool. That's one of the things I liked about Enterprise was that they're just leaving Earth, so of course they're going to reference what happened last week or the week before. Like, remember when we were at that planet? Yeah, they need to do that. Did anyone see the setting? Anyone see if the setting, the church and cabin, was Balls Falls in Niagara? I don't know where it was, but it's funny because I'm going to Niagara Falls on Monday. So I didn't know that. I'll have to look into where that was filmed. Like I said earlier, Discovery became Star Trek tonight. Yes, it kind of. Dis- There's you go. That's what I should have named this live stream. Discovery pops its Star Trek cherry tonight in season 2, episode 2 of Discovery. And this one was called New Eden. Is the name of this episode. So, and Pike needed to be at least swipe the camera's memory card. He could have done so, but that would have left the guy on the edge of a question for life. Yeah, I feel this season is going down a spiritual path. Absolutely, it will be. Let's see if they can keep this up. Yep, I like the props in the background. Well, thank you. I've done a Captain's Ready Room tour showing off all this stuff in previous videos, so thank you very much. This 350 Enterprise that I built lights up too, but it's kind of loud, so. Did you get your Blu-ray of Discovery yet, Captain? No, actually I haven't. It's one thing I do need to get, and I was looking for it the other day. I couldn't find it at the 2 stores in the mall that might have had it. That being said, I gotta check the other mall. I think they have it for like $50, but I don't know. We'll see. Jason says good because it's cold as Andoria out there. Damn Canadian jet stream. It's pretty mild here. We've had a really mild winter so far. This past weekend we had 2 really cold days, but since then, the snow we got on the weekend has all either melted or disappeared because of the rain we had yesterday. So, is Pike a Catholic? I kind of get that vibe. I kind of get the vibe that religion is really important to Pike in this episode. Just with the way he dealt with everything and the way he talked to Burnham and the other lady, who, again, a regular crew member I don't know the name of. Haven't watched it yet, but glad the reviews are positive. The preview made it seem like another boring space cult episode. Yeah, the trailer definitely didn't do this one justice. Um, Pike had a theologian for a father. Yes, he was a theologian and a, what was his other? There was two conflicting things: a scientist and whatever. It should have talked about his father and how he studied religions. Pike's father taught comparative religion and science. That's it. Um, it's +9 and pouring today, was -20 yesterday, and snowing. Global warming much. I'm getting the DVD of Discovery now because it's cheaper. Yeah, I gotta find a place that I can get it for relatively cheap if I'm gonna get it. Oh, you're still live. What do you mean still live? I've only been live for 36 minutes. I tried going live earlier, but I had some issues. I feel like Catholicism wouldn't really make it that far, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, I really have no religious views on that, so. Pagans might be into Star Trek. I can die now. Wikipedia. Well, it's cool that they mentioned the Wiccan religion when they were going through the list of religions that were incorporated there. What do you make of Spock being admitted to the psych ward? Self-admitted, I can't recall. I can't either. Like I said, I've only seen it once. I need to go down and rewatch it to take my notes. But um, it's interesting that we know where he is. It took all the fun of the season for me, really, because they're going to go pick him up. They're going to see that he's writing on the floor. I always assumed that they didn't know where he was, and they were going to get a report that he was found and he was fruitier than a nutcake, and then they go to the holding cell or whatever and see him drawing on the floor. But the fact that Pike knew where he was the whole time kind of takes the punch out of it for me until they go on their adventure, I guess. But I thought the adventure was going to be finding Spock, but now it's just warping to the facility. I'm not religious, but don't think Roddenberry's vision of religion not lasting would be true. I think Babylon 5 handled religion well. I would totally agree with you on that. It was almost 60 Fahrenheit rains most of the day. And we're talking about weather now. Weather and small talk. Weather. We're talking about weather and religion. Just should we involve politics now? No, I don't want to talk about politics or religion or weather necessarily. But I think he's going to escape, and they'll have to find him. Yeah, it seems like it might be the case because he does attack the one nurse with the Vulcan neck pinch. But I don't think that's from him escaping. I think that's from him just having a vision, and when he comes to, she's there, and it's just a natural instinct to do that. Hey, Captain, that might make a great vape pen or sweet ass Trek theme bong piece. Yeah, it's one of the blue mics. Had this for a long time. This is one of the first mics I bought for Trekyards like 4 years ago, and I used it for maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, and it was kind of shit. So I got another one. Who's better, Picard or Pickard? Billy Bob Pickard. Politics, bloodsuckers, who wife swap. What? The Enterprise had a chapel in TOS. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Though it didn't have any denomination attached to it, Gene was fully aware of that and didn't mock it at all. Yeah. Trek Lady C is here. Hello again, everyone. Hello, Trek Lady C. Welcome back. Captain, so far, how much sense do these Red Angels make? Not a whole lot so far, but the fact that I really like the way they incorporated them into this episode while still having it feel like its own episodic piece, like its own unique thing. Um, so we'll have to see how the season plays out. But so far, eh. Sorry, but the mic looks like a razor. There you go. Why does everyone think that Vulcans don't smile? Only Tuvok didn't smile. Yeah, it's a weird thing that people don't think that they smile because yeah, some of the TNG ones had that little smirk. The Red Angels are Q. Do you think that they are going to bring Tilly's friend back to life as proof of concept for Dr. Colbert? No. Never really considered that, but no. I know that there's some kind of tie in there, whether it's with Stamets and the mycelial network, whether it's with the green spore that hit Tilly's shoulder, or the radiation from the asteroid, or the dark matter, whatever it is, affecting the spore that's in her. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting to see for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. Tilly is concussed. Yeah, that's what I thought at first too. Um, but that seems too easy of a solution. That's what I think she's going to think it is, and the doctor's going to think it is if they talk to the doctor about it. But yeah, maybe the Red Angels in the doorway is the doorway to a different timeline. That'd be neat. Um, the correct timeline where things look right. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I got to rewatch it, get my thoughts together for tomorrow, because like I said, I'm filming with Samuel in the morning, and then he'll edit it together, throw it up for the tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll do our live scene by scene breakdown at 5 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So tune in for that if you can. Greatly appreciate it if you could. Saru was amazing in this episode. Yes, even the way he dealt with Tilly, I thought was great. Love to see the character interaction. World War III mentioned is taking place in 2051. Devastates from TOS. Thoughts? Deviates from TOS. Well, no. In TOS, you're thinking of the eugenics wars in 1996. That's not World War III. A lot of people get those confused. They're totally different. I forget. I don't think they mentioned what year World War III was in TOS specifically, but the eugenics wars was confined to Europe and that region in there. I'm not sure exactly where. I'd have to go back and read the con books, but it was very, very contained, and it was very undersold to the public. It was kind of they used mass media to hide the fact that there was anything really going on. So that explains why we never heard anything in 1996. So no issues with that so far. We'll see. Tuvok smiled a lot when he had a brain problem and cooked with Neelix. Like all good things, multiple events in multiple timelines. Yeah, what about the World War III reference? That was cool. 2054, I think, is when the people were. Yeah, I gotta go watch it again. How do we never hear about mushroom jumping around the galaxy later in the 24th century? Well, they're going to explain that. Um, whether it just be because the mycelial network gets sealed up, whether there's a timeline fix that just never happened, whether it just becomes classified tech and these people move on with their careers and don't mention it, and I don't know. We'll see. Memory Alpha says World War II or World War III was 2026. Thought 2053. I'd have to check what Memory Alpha said and what that's based on. If it's based on one of the books, I'm not sure. The network is still super top secret. It reminded me of, I think that the other thing that might happen is the mycelial network. The reason the Red Angels show up is because humans have been using the mycelial network and they actually jumped realities, and the Red Angels might be like, guys, we're gonna like eliminate all sentient life in the universe if you do that again. So probably better seal these up so you guys can't get in there. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Um, and we're going to erase all your memory of it, and goodbye. And that's probably going to be the season arc for this one. I don't know. The warp jumps were better in this episode, yes, and you didn't see the stupid warp effect, really. I noticed when they did jump to warp, and then the next scene is on the bridge, you see like a corner, like a part of the view screen, but you see a little bit of a shh, but nothing major. Memory beta is books and games. Yeah, memory beta is side canon. You don't jump with warp drive. TOS did say about World War III, Spock talks it. But what did he say? What year? He didn't say what year. He just said it devastated whatever your 30 million people dead or whatever he said. I can't remember. But there was no year specifically said. I was going from First Contact, Enterprise, and TOS for World War III dates, early 21st century. Talk about it. Talk about what? It was so great. Not interested in Spock. I wish they would do exactly this for the next 5 or 6 years. Maybe the Angels are actually species 8472. That's probably not very likely at all. Can't wait to see Rebecca Romaine as Pike's #1. Yeah, I thought we'd probably see her in this episode, but no. I know she's coming up, and I'm looking forward to that. See how well she pulls off that character. World War III was a series of wars between the 2220s and the 2060s. Series of wars, yeah. Probably starting with the Eugenics War of 1996, maybe. I don't know. Don't forget the Star Trek First Contact reference point to World War III. When can we get our round nacelles back? That being said, the Discovery nacelles look a lot shorter in those scenes of the ship. Like, the scenes of the ship are beautiful. I gotta say, I'm not the hugest fan of the Discovery design, but seeing it in this episode, well lit with good CG, bang on, man. Patrick was right. This season of Discovery is Star Trek. Hope they keep it up. Yes, that's kind of the summary for this whole schmozzle here that we're talking about. But we know they look like Odo, not angels. 1996, I thought it was 1997, but Trek is always changing dates. Yeah, the Eugenics Wars was 1996. That I know for a fact. In the next episode teaser, I heard the Klingons speak English. Very cool. Again, they can emote better if they're speaking English, in my opinion. It's a whoosh, mish, mosh, moosh, mosh, moosh, mushy, mouse, moosh, mosh, moo. I can't do the Klingon. Hush, hush. I can't do Discovery Klingon. As much as I try, I hear it. I try to say it. I can't do it. Anti-Trekker does it well. Samuel does it well. I just can't do it well. What do you think about the donut maneuver? I thought that was funny. I thought that was really hilarious. We're basically going to do a donut. It's like something Tom Paris would say because he's into old cars. He's into the Camaro and stuff. Essentially, I can see him saying that to Janeway. I'll do a donut. A what? Never mind. So yeah, I did like that, and that scene was beautiful with the two tractor beams on that little asteroid, and just it was awesome, and it was a nice length. Wasn't too short. The donut solution was very low tech, but cool too. Good night, Matt. See you later. As a priest, I found this episode amazing. I love the Prime Directive explanation combined with the reactionary religious faith. Cool. Yeah, the melding of all of the religions was a pretty interesting idea. I don't know if that would ever work in real life. I don't know if people can get along long enough for that, but every religion is basically the same thing. It's just don't be a dick to each other. Just be nice. That's the main message of all of it. Lieutenant Commander Ariam recast in season 2. Anyone even noticed? No. And she had some lines in this too, but she talked like this. I don't know if it's bad acting or if that's what sort of. I don't think she's an android. But they need to explain things. Is what they need to do. I just dropped my mouse. In General Order 1, the name before it changes to the Prime Directive is General Order 1, the name it. Yes, General Order 1 is the Prime Directive. Breaking news just in. Bad Robot is leaving Paramount. Do you think we'll get Shran this season? Wasn't an STO. My filler light just died. Which is probably a sign that I should get going. Yeah, we're falling apart here at the seams. Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna get going though. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Where the hell? Now my mouse is broken. There we go. Patrick O'Connell puts in $5. Thank you very much, Patrick. What if the last resort, referring to the ships on exploration missions like the Enterprises, not just the entire roster of Constitution-class ships? What if the last resort, referring to ships on exploration missions like the Enterprise, not just the entire roster? Yeah, well, that's I think what they were getting at. That not all the ships were out doing their 5-year missions. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that's just silly. But yeah, just some of them were on their exploratory missions and didn't get back on time. And they decided not even to recall them because we had some constitutions back here, maybe, who knows. Microphone too far away. Yes, sorry. There we go. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to get going. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This is just under an hour. It would have been longer had I not had technical issues at the beginning. But thank you for watching. And by all means, check out the review tomorrow afternoon that's going up. And also Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 in the UK. That's when Samuel and myself are going to go live, do a 2-hour review of this episode, talking about each scene, breaking it down, talking about our notes, everything we noticed, of course, engaging with you guys with the super chats, and getting your thoughts and feedback as well. So if you can join me for that, please do. Appreciate you guys for watching, and everybody that super chatted, thank you very much. It definitely helps out the channel and is a real boost to see. It's good to see that. So anyway, guys, I will talk to you later, and thank you very much again for joining. Have a good night, everyone, and it's time for me to go watch this episode again, and I'm excited about it. I'm going to take notes and do the things that I got to do. So, bye, guys.